Hey guys, Rick Stone here from Stony Acres Gardening. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have been pretty amazed at how often in the last 3 or 4 months I have heard people saying, hey, I'm going to start a garden for the first time this year, or I'm going to get back to gardening. I've gotten away from it. And I've just heard that a ton from a ton of people here recently. And I think that's probably because of a lot of the insecurity that we're seeing in the world right now, the shipping problems, the price increases and all that kind of stuff. People are really getting interested in gardening again. And so I thought today I would give those of you that are interested in getting started gardening some easy places to start. So I've got 13 crops that are easy for beginner gardeners to grow. And we're going to go through that list for you today. Now, before we get started, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click that notification bell so you get noticed every time I release new videos. Go follow us over on Instagram as well. We'd love to have you join us there. And then make sure you get signed up for the wait list for our Get Your Garden Started Challenge, which will be in mid-April, and we're starting the wait list today. Okay, so let's get started. I've got 13, a baker's dozen, crops for you to grow that are easy. And let's start out with peas. So peas are a fairly easy crop to grow overall, but the one that I would really like you to focus on are snow peas. So snow peas are those long, flat peas that we see like in stir fries and things like that. And the reason why I think those are so easy for us to grow as new gardeners is because you don't have to worry about when to harvest them. Once they start growing, you can harvest them anytime. So the pod is edible, the peas inside are edible, and a snow pea is just really simple to know when to harvest. My favorite variety is called Oregon Giant, but last year we tried Mammoth Melting Sugar Pod snow peas, and those were also really, really good. So Mammoth Melting or Oregon Giant are both good varieties of those to grow. Next on the list is potatoes. The reason why I like potatoes is they're really pretty much a low maintenance crop. You dig a hole, throw the potato in. So we don't grow potatoes from seeds. We grow them from what we call a seed potato. You throw that potato in the ground. It's going to sprout, give you a nice plant, and produce probably 10 to 15 more potatoes under the ground. The other thing is they taste really good. The taste of homegrown potatoes is so much better than store-bought, especially when you're digging them fresh. They store well, just a good option. So potatoes, really easy to grow. You should get those on your list this year. Next on the list is lettuce, and not any lettuce, okay? Iceberg lettuce, the kind that we normally see in the grocery store, is actually fairly complicated to grow. It takes a long time. For me, iceberg lettuce is not even worth the space. And for a new gardener, iceberg is not really a good choice. There's just so many issues and problems with it. So instead, I want you to choose some leaf lettuce varieties. And there are literally hundreds of varieties out there. Some of our favorite are black-seeded Simpson. We've got a red variety that we really, really like. Oak leaf lettuce is a fantastic variety as well. All of those are really good, really easy to grow. They'll give you more than one harvest, so you can cut them off. Leaf lettuce, you can cut them off about an inch above the ground, eat that lettuce, and it'll grow back 2 or 3 different times. So all of those lettuce varieties, the leaf varieties, are very easy to grow and a great place for a new gardener to get started growing lettuce. And we know how expensive lettuce has gotten here recently, and so great option for a new gardener. Next on our list are radishes, and this is actually a new variety of radish that I got from Honest Seed Company. It's a watermelon radish. I've never grown these before. We're going to give them a try this year. We've grown a whole bunch of different radishes over the years. I put radishes on there mainly because they're so simple to grow. They just really are very easy to grow. Easy for you to get in the ground. Now remember, they are a cool season crop and they need to be planted early in the season while the weather is still cold and cool. They don't do well in the summertime, so we plant those in the spring and we plant them again in the fall. Radishes, the really good advantage of those is it only takes about 4 weeks for them to reach maturity, so they are a very quick growing crop. So get some radishes planted. They're great. That your kids will love it. So if you're trying to get your kids involved in the garden, they're going to love the fact that they grow so quickly. They're up and ready to harvest so quick that it'll keep their interest. So radishes, great crop for a new gardener. Next on the list is kale, and we love kale. We collect our own seeds, so this variety is called Vates. It's one of our favorite varieties of kale, and kale is really quite simple to grow. It does have occasional pest problems. Things like aphids and cabbage loppers will sometimes be a little bit of a problem. That's easily taken care of by covering the plants with either a very thin bug netting or even just some light fabric row cover will take care of that. Kale is a cool season crop that moves into the warm season as well and will continue to do well in the warm season. Doesn't taste quite as good in the summertime as it does in the spring and in the fall, but kale can pretty much be grown from early spring all the way up until snowfall without really a lot of effort. So get some kale in. You can plant those from starts if you want, or you can plant the seeds directly out in the garden, but really easy to grow kale. Next on our list is a tomato, but a specific type of tomato, okay? So in the tomato world, we have what we call determinate tomatoes and indeterminate tomatoes. Indeterminate tomatoes grow wild. They grow big, they have lots of vines, and they're harder to manage. A determinate tomato, as the name sounds, they grow to a very determined size. So most determinate tomatoes get maybe 3 or 4 feet tall. They produce a solid amount of tomatoes for you, but they don't get out of control. The only support that they really need are like a tomato cage. They're pretty simple. Most of them are pretty pest-free. And so a determinate tomato is a great place for a new gardener to start. Those also do well in containers. Next on our list are beans, and this particular variety is one of our favorite. It's called Royal Burgundy, and it is a bush bean, and that is what I want new gardeners to be growing, are bush beans. So these are green beans that we're going to be eating fresh as green beans. And the reason why I want you to buy bush varieties is they're just so low maintenance. You just put them in the ground, they're going to grow, they're going to give you a really good harvest in about 60 to 70 days from the time you plant, so they're pretty quick to grow. But bush beans don't require trellising like pole beans do. Next is zucchini, and everybody loves zucchini or hates zucchini. By the end of the season, sometimes we're hating zucchini. It is a very easy squash plant to grow, and that's a good kind of gateway squash plant to get you going. They're summer squashes, which means we eat them fresh. They don't store well, and they're very prolific. So one warning that I will give to those of you that are new at gardening, one plant is probably enough. 2 at the very most. We grow 2 plants every year and we are overwhelmed by zucchini. All right, next is an onion, and a specific type of onion that we are going to call bunching onions. They're sometimes called green onions. Also, you'll hear them referred to as scallions, okay? Bunching onions are pretty no-brainer to grow. You just throw them in the ground. You don't have to worry about timing and bulbing and a lot of excessive fertilizing and stuff like that, and they're going to give you a nice green onion, and the harvest should last for quite a while. If you plant a nice clump of them, then you should be able to harvest for, you know, a month or 2 from that clump, just pulling a few at a time. You can go out and snip, just if you're just looking for green onion, you can snip the tops off. They'll grow back. So a very easy onion to start with is a bunching onion. The variety that we like is called Tokyo Long White, and a great tasting variety for you and pretty easy to grow. Next on the list is another one of the squash family, and that is cucumbers. Our favorite variety of cucumbers to grow is called Market Moore 76. It's an heirloom variety that's been around for quite a while, and a really good, simple crop to grow. Cucumbers do require trellises if you are doing a regular variety. Now, there are some bush varieties of cucumbers out there that grow well in containers, don't take up quite as much space, but cucumbers overall are fairly easy to grow. They should give you a pretty extended harvest. You know, our plants usually will produce for 2.5, sometimes 3 months, depending on what the weather is like in the fall. So very productive, very tasty, pretty easy to grow. So get some cucumbers in. And then the last 3 that I have for you are herbs. So parsley and dill and chives are all very easy herb varieties to grow. Parsley is our favorite varieties, depending on what you want. If you want a nice, strong flavored parsley, then Italian flatleaf is a great one. But if you want a milder one, then I would go with some of the curlier leaf varieties. They're a little bit milder. All of them are easy to grow. You plant them really early in the season, just as your first frost or your last frost is approaching. They'll grow all through the season. You'll be able to harvest all through the summer and right up to the fall frost, and they'll just do really great. Dill is a very productive herb. You have to be a little careful, because if you let those flowers, which we love so much and that look so pretty, if you let those go to seed, then they'll spread and it'll almost become a weed in your garden. But it's very easy to grow, and we can harvest both the leaves and the seeds, and it's just a great addition to a lot of dishes. If you've got your cucumbers and you want to make some pickles or some fridge pickles, have some dill to go along with that, because dill is a really easy herb to grow. And then the last one is chives. Chives are actually a perennial, which means they come back year after year, and so plant them in your first season. Normally, you're either going to start those indoors on your own, or you're going to buy a plant that's already established at a nursery and then transplant that out into your garden. And then chives will come back every year. They're the first herb to harvest in the spring, and they're the last herb to harvest in the fall. They last all summer long. You can go out and just snip a few leaves off when you need them. Just a really good, solid beginner herb to grow. Okay? All right, so there you go. That is my 13 easiest crops for new gardeners to grow. Hopefully that's helpful for you. If you've got any questions, please let me know down in the description or in the comments. And any of you experienced gardeners, if you've got a few more you'd like to add, throw those in the comment section as well. Maybe I'll do another video. So anyways, before we go, I did want to make sure that you guys knew about my Get Your Garden Planted Challenge, which is coming up in mid-April, and we're starting to take people on the wait list for that challenge now. It's a fun 5-day challenge that will help you to get your garden going and get it started, and we kind of just go through some of the basics with the hope by the end of those 5 days you are ready to get a garden planted. And we'll be starting that in mid-April. We haven't settled exactly on a date yet, but somewhere around April 15th. And that's a fun challenge that we have coming up. We've done that for the last 2 years and had hundreds of people participate, and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you get signed up either down in the description or this link right up here, and get signed up for that wait list as well. Okay? All right, that, my friends, is all I have for you for this week. Everybody have a fantastic week. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you get subscribed to our channel and go follow us over on Instagram. We'll talk to you next week. Happy gardening.